and welcome to this episode of Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick with the City of Hampton, and today we're going to talk about a special needs summer camp and actually school year program as well for children and for teens and young adults. My guest today is April Evans. Welcome, April.
Hi, thank you.
Glad you could be here.
I'm glad I could come.
This is a program that serves really a very specialized audience and a small number, and frankly, I didn't even know we did it in the city. So you're in touch with the group you need to be in touch with, but I think it's important to share with people what you guys do.
A lot of people in the city don't know that we are present and that we offer services for the special needs population. So it is a really good thing that I'm able to come here today and let you know about it. Maybe we can reach a broader audience. We provide year-round services for special needs individuals, and that's of all ages.
And now see, when I heard the term therapeutic program, I'm not sure what I thought it was, but I didn't really have a grasp. So if you could tell me who is special needs, what does therapeutic programming mean?
Therapeutic programming is programs that are offered for people with disabilities of any kind, whether it be a developmental delay in a small child to a physically disabled adult that's looking for programming options. We provide programs to people with disabilities such as autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. We have behavioral problems, intellectual disability. We really service the whole range.
That's a lot to take on for a staff, because there are people with physical needs or any other kind of needs where it's a little more staff intensive. You know, you can't have one person for 5 or 6 kids or 10 kids. You have to really be there physically aiding them as well as helping with whatever they need.
Definitely. A lot of our staff is actually straight from Hampton Public Schools, and they work very closely with special ed children. So they come with a huge amount of experience a lot of times. We have a 1 staff to 4 children ratio.
Wow.
That's what we try and keep it within. So we provide a really good amount of supervision to these kids and young adults, especially during summer camp when we sometimes go over that ratio. A lot of our kids are higher functioning because we try and keep it a very community-based program, but at times there are more services required, and we try our best to make those accommodations for them.
Wow, okay, so the city has 2 programs, one at Old Northampton, and who is that for?
We actually have a program for youth at Old Hampton Community Center during the summer.
Oh, I called it Old Northampton.
Yeah, and also we have a after-school program at Phoebus, an after-school program at Old Hampton, and we have teens and young adults summer camp at the Hampton Teen Center.
Okay.
We've also recently started providing an evening program for adults with special needs that are from area group homes.
Great. That's amazing. Okay, so focusing on the 2 summer camps, tell us about the one at Old Hampton.
At Old Hampton, we service children from ages 5.5 to about 12. Sometimes we'll keep 13-year-olds there. Sometimes we'll move them up. Depends on what their functioning level is, where they need to be.
Okay.
And that's while they're currently enrolled in school. So then we move over to the Hampton Teen Center, where we provide programs for ages 13 up to 22. And that's as long as they are currently enrolled in school. These summer camps are exclusively for school children and young adults.
So what kinds of things do you do at these summer programs?
Like I said, we try and keep it very community-based and inclusive with the other summer camps that are housed in the same facilities. We do a lot of inclusion sports. When the Old Hampton camps provide some sort of tennis activity or baseball or anything like that, we try and jump into that as well.
So the kids who are physically capable can do those?
Definitely. Mm-hmm. And we even have children that are in wheelchairs that we will wheel around the tennis court. It happened at summer camp last year. It happens at spring break camp. We try our best to make sure all of the children are included no matter what their ability is. We also do arts and crafts, the usual summer camp activities, gym time, free time. We have video games, we have movies, and then we also do a lot of field trips. We do 1 field trip a week, which is a lot for some summer camps. We try and get them out to see the community in a way that maybe they don't get to do with their peers on a regular basis. Kids with special needs don't always get the opportunities that the so-called mainstream groups do to see these museums and the water parks. We go to Busch Gardens, Ocean Breeze, we go bowling, all of the normal kid activities that any kid would hope to participate in during summer camp.
Now, does this cost a lot more? Because I'm thinking as a parent, you know, I know what the summer camps cost that the city runs or some of the other places, but when you have to have more staff per kids and a little more supervision, and it's just a much more complex program, what does that mean for the parents?
It means that it is the same price for everyone. It is still $75 per child.
Now, how do we do that?
I'm not sure how we do that. We try and keep everything on the same level as the other mainstream programs within the city. That way a parent that has a child with a disability doesn't pay any more for them than they would for a sibling that doesn't have a disability. So it's still $75. Now, piggybacking on the other programs in the city, it is not prorated at all. So one day is $75, 5 days is $75.
$75 a week, whether you come every day or not.
But we do provide lunch, and most of the field trips are included. So I think it's a pretty good deal.
That is. That's a pretty amazing deal. And you said sometimes some of your programs get support through the Community Services Board, and there's a little bit of a network that you guys work to try to make sure everybody is covered in the most appropriate way.
Right. Definitely within the special needs community, they have a lot of resources available to them. And the Community Services Board is one of the big backers for the programs within the city, and they will fund some of their clients. There's an application process through them, and it would come up to their caseworker. But the CSB, the Community Services Board, and Social Services, and a few other smaller organizations sometimes fund these children so that they can come on a scholarship basis or on the public funding basis.
That is great. And I know, you know, it first sort of came to light when recently in the city budget hearings when a parent came and said, hey, if you close the community center on Mondays, my aftercare therapeutic program has nowhere to go. I can't go somewhere on Mondays and somewhere else. And the city manager's answer is, well, special programs that are parent funded would stay open. But it sort of brought the whole therapeutic program to a public forum in a way that I think people began realizing about it a little bit or wanted to learn a little more.
Yeah, it definitely did. When we found out that the community program or community centers might have been closed on one day, there was a major issue within, especially my program, with those parents, because it is so difficult to find care for these special needs children that they're satisfied with.
Right.
So it definitely did bring up a point with a lot of parents that, hey, these special needs kids and the other kids need this aftercare. Mm-hmm. Luckily, they worked very hard, and the budget committee was able to save us. And we are going to be open 5 days a week still, no problems.
That's great. Now, what about if you're in the schools over the summer? Do you have an issue with Fridays, or is that why you're in the teen center?
That's actually how we transitioned from Phoebus High School over to the teen center. That Friday closing would have changed a lot for us.
Yeah, that's
so
hard
the teen
for
center has
parents.
been very good. It's been a blessing to us. It's a wonderful location. The teens love it. The parents love it. They're able to interact with other teens their age while the other camps are going on there. It's a wonderful facility.
It does work toward that inclusion idea.
Definitely, and that's what we work towards with all of our programs. No matter what the functioning level is, we really try hard to keep that inclusion piece in it.
Wow. April, how did you get involved in working with special needs children?
I was in college for something completely different, and someone suggested I take a therapeutic recreation course, and I fell in love with it. And within 6 months, I had asked my advisor to help me find a job, and I started working in Parks and Recreation.
Wow, where were you in college?
Old Dominion.
Okay, so you were nearby. Are you from Hampton?
Yes, born and raised.
Okay, okay, so you came back to help, you know, a group that really needs services, you know, that needs that specialized assistance.
They
to
definitely
have
do.
The experience that other kids get to have.
Mm-hmm. They definitely need that, and we are very lucky to have the staff that we have with all the experience that they bring to the table. We have a wonderful staff on board.
That is great. What are the hours for the summer camp?
Summer camp is from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So the same thing as the other city full-day summer camps.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we also provide lunch. There's a USDA service that brings lunch to the kids, so we also have that component. That's actually a good pull. Mm-hmm. So everything is pretty much provided for the kids. And 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. seems like a long day, but you don't have to come for the full day.
Right.
You don't have to leave your child from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Our core hours are normally between 9 and 4. That's when we do the most activity.
So it may depend on when the parent needs to leave for work or gets off work. They can drop them off a little later or pick them up early based on you work with the families. Now, I'm going to guess that a lot of your population is kind of continual care. I mean, that people don't drop in and out as much because you do see some of the same kids through the school year and through the summer.
Definitely. We have kids that are with us all year round for several years. There are some that have been with us probably since they started school and they're now in high school. And that just, it's a great continuum of care to be in the same place and for these kids not to have to transition back and forth. We provide that service all the way through. They get used to our staff, we get used to having them, and they become part of our therapeutic family.
See, that's really kind of a cool thing. Is there, have you noticed, watched some kids grow or develop or change over the period of time you've had them?
Definitely, and actually I've seen some of the children at, my other job when I first started, and they moved from that facility to Hampton Parks and Rec.
So they moved from a behavioral...
I actually used to work for another Parks and Recreation for another city, and I've seen them move to us, and I see them throughout the city. These services, you start to see the same people over and over, and they really stick with you.
Okay, that's great. Now, some people actually might have kids who come in for the summer, maybe grandkids or relatives. Is that something that, so you could take on people for a portion of the summer if...
Definitely. We definitely see some kids come just for a couple weeks. We see them come for the whole 9 weeks. But we have grandparents that have their grandchildren for the summer. We definitely take them. That's what the assessment portion is for. We actually require an assessment beforehand and to make sure that we can accommodate them even if it is just for a couple weeks.
Great.
So as long as they can bring them in for an assessment, we'll definitely provide the services.
Okay, that's wonderful. And we'll put up the phone number and the website address so people can get more information.
Awesome.
April, is there anything I forgot to ask you about?
I'm pretty sure we covered most of it.
Okay, well thank you so much for coming by and telling people. It's interesting that what you do and to know about the program, even if you don't have kids who might qualify, just to understand what's going on or to refer a friend or to spread the word and let people know what's there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching this episode of Round Robin. I hope you'll come back also.